and gentlemen, welcome to the March 3rd, 2025 Decatur County Commissioners meeting. There are Title VI forms in the back corner by the door. Feel free to fill one of those out if you would like and turn it into the auditor's office. Leanne, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The individual that was going to lead us in prayer this evening is also under the weather. So Brian, would you mind leading us in prayer this evening?
Sure. Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening, we thank you for your providence over Decatur County. We just ask you to give us guidance and wisdom as we make choices that help make Decatur County great. We just thank you for your presence, and we ask this in all your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, gentlemen, let's get started. We had an opportunity to review the February 17th minutes.
I have a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion.
So moved.
All right, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The February 17th minutes are approved. Moving on to claims.
To approve those, I haven't seen anything.
I don't see. I had some questions. I don't know if either of you have information. I saw a number of refunds from the shelter for surgeries. I don't know if that has something to do with our current bed situation or not. I didn't know whether you have any of that information. All right, I'll shoot Mindy an email.
We know what it is.
Okay.
So it's when they adopted, say a dog, when the dog is adopted, they have to pay the surgery fee up front, but then once they once they go through with it and have the surgery done, they get it refunded.
Wow, so there were a lot of dogs and a lot of animals that were refunded. That was a much higher rate than I remember seeing.
The reason it started is we had people that were adopting animals and they would just never come back to get surgery done.
Sure. Oh, that's fantastic. It was a much higher number than I've ever seen in any of these other claims. So that's fantastic. Dave, you have any thoughts, any questions? Nope. All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the claims.
I'll second. All right. Those opposed? Motion to accept claims carries. Claims are approved. Moving on to payroll. February 28th, 2025. Payroll is in the amount of $390,385.88.
I didn't see anything set out. Me neither. I'm going to make a motion to accept payroll. I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Pass that down. Please, Brian. David. All right, moving on. Todd House, the Highway Department.
Good evening, John.
Good evening.
Since we've last met, still continuing to do the main maintenance. We have been doing extra patching. I got both dirt patches running. We ran in Friday trying to get caught up in a hot box. So roads are blowing up out there because all the freeze fall. So we're trying to do the best we can to get them back in order. Been out grading some gravel roads, applying some stone. Been doing bushwhacking, vegetation, still been doing the tree trimming. Been doing some more bridge maintenance, and also some survey and layout work. We've been out this week and last week repairing where our county truck went off the road into a ditch or in somebody's yard. Try to get that taken care of. We've also been doing log jams where stuff actually, as the water level comes up, it flows down to a bridge and starts blocking it, creating that stress. So we got to go in there and clean it. Probably the worst one to clean out is the one as you're going out 1100 on Westport, you make that hard 90. down there by the boat ramp. You can't get down there on one side to get it, so you got to put a cable through, hook onto that stuff, and pull through on the other side. So that's probably the biggest pain we have on that.
How long does a process like that take for you and your crew?
It might take a day or two, with 4 or 5 guys down there. So, because you actually got to take an excavator down there, try and, track down their, the boat dock or boat ramp all the way upstream and try and pull that down. So I got the, lucky straw to do that a couple times. So, they talk about crack jobs. Well, nobody wants to do that job because it is crack.
I think I just heard you volunteer for that.
Nobody volunteers. Nobody volunteers. We had our field trip today. I would say that went very well. We had 31 kids. I think there was probably maybe 8 or 10 adults. The guys kind of went in and put in money in a jar collection, and they actually did some special things. They bought them like some bracelets, and probably the coolest one that I thought they bought was from Amazon, and it was yellow hard hats for kids and a vest. So all these kids, after this, we had our field trip, they got to go through and pick what they wanted, had little Caterpillar trucks and excavators, and so I think the kids had a good time. They also, everybody got a bag of treats, apple, candy, so it went really well.
Did anybody, you or Tim or anybody else take any pictures of everything?
Actually, Bill did. He was actually come out there and did some pictures.
I'd just like to get something up on the county Facebook page
Yeah.
just to let you guys know that you do more than
Yeah.
what people know about.
I'll send that.
Thanks, Bill.
So it was pretty slick. So they had a few questions. There was one guy that, oh my goodness, he was touching and talking, but they went from pre-K all the way to 6th grade. So it was a wide range of ages. But it went pretty well. I had 4 guys help in the shop. We actually had an excavator outside we had started. So we took them outside and they got to watch the movement of the excavator. So I think they would have loved got up in some of that equipment, but I didn't want the liability.
They were tickled shit.
Good.
So it went real well.
That's fair.
But that's all I had to report. Do you guys gentlemen have anything for me?
Very nice of you.
Great.
But for the whole group,
Yeah,
commend you for that. That's cool for them to get to do that.
yeah. Well, it's kind of cool because number one, we got a new building and showing it off, and we got more room and space to actually do stuff. So,
Do you ever get involved? Do they ask you to do like touch a truck or the library or the YMCA?
we do that when they're out there at the health department. Yeah, we usually take a truck and maybe a dozer.
That's what I was thinking, maybe something like that. You could take an excavator, a dozer or something, if it's
Yeah.
feasible to do something like that. And when they do,
Yeah, I think we've
Done twice for us now.
yeah.
it's great.
Really well
Yeah.
received.
Very good.
You've gotten an update on the railroad detour issue.
Just the email sent you guys. They haven't touched it. Nobody's reached back out to me, but I was pleased to get that email.
That is progress.
Yeah.
Because I actually seen an asphalt company. I seen there was a lot of people CC'd on that,
Yes.
so I'm hoping that pushes through.
Yep. This has been years in the works.
Yeah,
So for
2
us-
years.
Yeah. So for us to get some feedback from the company that they're at least referring it
Yes,
someplace.
yeah. So I'm
Good stuff.
very hopeful of that. I figured I'd wait another week or two and see if I hear anything from the insurance people. If not, I'll reach back out to that lady. She's another contact.
Mhm.
So I was pleased to get that email. I just wanted to share that.
What's the status on the new dump truck?
New dump truck, they didn't want to do anything to that until after they get received payment.
Okay.
So it was in the claims tonight. Okay, so they'll go ahead and get the air ride seat on the passenger side. They'll go ahead and get it painted. They've asked me if they could, there was a company out of Indianapolis at the truck show that had automatic chains. And they asked Selking if they could use that up there at the expo to show that, and then we get a free set of automatic chains.
It's good.
And I didn't really have any objection to that, so, but hopefully they're gonna send it in the shop, get it painted, get things rolling. So
Any update on the guardrail 400 north?
Actually, I do not.
Were you able to contact the insurance company and
I have
make a claim for that?
reached out already.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything back yet.
Okay, but you started that process of making a claim?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I got both. There was 2 accidents down there.
yes,
So I actually got, both reports
okay,
from the sheriff's department.
okay,
So Todd and I have had several talks about that. There's a lot more to come.
okay.
And that,
Yeah.
in theory, actually, those have been pulled from what we should provide. So I agree that it needs something there. I agree something needs to be done, but there can actually be a liability for that as well, where we're in violation. So there's also, he has some great ideas of doing reflective signs as well. I mean, still something needs to be there or the road needs to be fixed. But reflective signs, light up signs.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that can be done to just help ensure that people see that corner, at least in the short term.
Yeah.
While we figure out what the long-term plan is.
Very good.
Yeah, actually, I've reached out to our sign company, on that, looking at 3 flashing Chevron signs to put down there. So he's supposed to be giving me some pricing on that.
My understanding is that the last 2 accidents, it is the person that's under the influence. So I don't know how flashing light's going to do any good for an under the influence person who's going to try to do that curve.
No.
I mean, unfortunately, but that's the last 2 have been
Yeah.
a DUI.
Yeah.
Well, it can't hurt.
Well, I'm just saying that
Sometimes it could.
Yeah.
Yeah, just anything.
but a sign's not going to stop a car from going to that guy's house is what his thought process is.
So I think that Todd will have some information really soon on as to
Yeah.
what some paths are to move forward, and then we'll have to select which one makes the most sense.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
All right.
John Durbin, Health Department, the podium is yours.
Just what I wanted. Can I take it home with me? Wanted to talk about the sign first. I brought Carrie with me from Green Signs. We just are ready to move forward on the process, so we need a little bit of clarity. In particular, I guess, the location of the sign. For the money I budgeted was to stay where it is. And there were some questions with the parking, and I guess I'm seeing if it's going to be in an area that sign is still going to be in a good spot.
As far as I know, we have made no headway on
No,
agreement on where to park.
no, with all of the other projects that we have going on right now, we will move forward on the parking at some point. But that has not been a discussion that we've had yet on getting it done. The drawings and some of the discussions that we'd had previously with commissioners, I think the current location of the sign is, I don't think it's going anywhere there. So,
Where, refresh my memory, the current location of that sign.
It's in the front of the building, pretty much dead center. It's like,
you can see the shadow.
Oh, it's right in the yard?
Yeah, you can see that. It's
out pretty close to the road. I haven't measured how long.
And
I think the previous discussion was just in how close it was going to be to the road, right?
Well, because we talked about, it's going to be a lighted sign, right, Carrie?
Yes, and I
So
have
we have to get electric to it and all that, so we want to be mindful of
Yeah.
all of that.
I'm sorry, what was,
Because it's electric sign, we've got, getting electric to it and be
Correct.
mindful of.
So we have one 120 volt already run to it, but we would have to put 3 in. So hopefully we can pull through the conduit that's in there now. That's how my costs are going to be lower. If we have to run all new conduit and everything, quite a bit to the expense. I haven't even quoted how much that would be. I was hoping we can keep it where it is.
I think if nothing else, pre-construction is probably better at this point.
It's 40 feet from the other. That, honestly, that's probably safe right there.
Yeah.
I don't see any
Because,
parking going any closer to that.
The contemplated area here for both of you for the parking lot was to attempt to square this off right across here.
Why he should rubble easement variance.
Yes.
And the variance we've got.
So in theory, we just need.
We can move it closer to the road with the variance of. Yeah, and that would give us potentially an extra row of parking.
Right.
If you move it closer
I think
to the fence row.
I think that's. So in 40 to 20, or,
So you're talking 20 instead
yeah,
of 40?
so that way it's, the way that we actually could square that off, because right now the.
What did the variance, what did the
Well,
variance
it's
give us?
potentially, I mean, it's, yeah.
From
We could
the,
go, yeah, we could go closer. The variance was for the digital sign in that zoned area. Because they didn't allow residential being across the street. They didn't allow the digital sign. That's what we went for the variance for,
not for location.
not the location. So it was height of the sign and the digital sign portion. We got variance approval. Typically it's 5 foot back around the property line. You guys have the fence though, and I don't know how far the fence is from property line or if it's on property line. And we would want to keep probably a good 10 to 15 foot back from the fence, so it's not obstructing the digital portion of it. If you get too close to the fence, you won't be able to see the sign.
Right.
So that's why we were keeping similar distance. It won't be exact location because the foundation that's there, we don't want to have to dig it up. So we'll be about same distance from the road, but maybe 3 foot in front or 3 foot in back of that existing foundation.
Yeah, I would prefer to see it, if it's gonna move, I would prefer to see it moving east.
Closer to the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be,
I'll confirm with Sarah and how close we can go. I had met with Sean and said that I could go out and mark it with flags. I could mark where the sign will actually be laid out.
Yeah.
If you guys, want to confirm that. Our plans, and this is with your guys' approval, was to do the new foundation, concrete, set the pole on March 19th. And then do the final install of the sign on March 24th or 26th, that week of March 24th.
That's. I think that's probably an 8 foot fence.
yeah. it might be quick.
Just get it inside.
Yeah, I think if you can get it 5 to 10 feet east
Okay.
of its current
I can go mark it. I plan to go mark it tomorrow with your guys' approval. If you just want to let me know, maybe by the end of the week, if you're okay with that.
As long as it falls within the parameters for, from the center of the road.
Yep.
The variance there.
Yep.
That we,
Yep, I'll confirm with Sarah.
as long as we're within those parameters, I think we can get as close to the road as possible.
Yeah,
Okay.
as far east as you can get.
And those dates are,
If we can do that, I'm good.
and those dates are okay with you guys with us working on the property and,
Sure.
okay.
Things are fine.
I'll have it marked tomorrow or Wednesday once I talk to Sarah. Okay,
I make a motion to go ahead and approve this location, move it as close to the road as possible, east as possible.
I'll second the unofficial location.
All right, we have a motion. Those in favor,
Right.
those opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you. No, I'm not asking for anything, just informing. So, in what I'd asked for was an annual report. This is less of an annual report. On top is our proposed layout for the garden, which is just for your information. Show you what we are doing there. There's 2 possible layouts there, one on the front and one on the back of that sheet. But that is what we're looking at right now, and we're really excited about it. We got a lot of stuff happening with it. It's kind of organically growing. I did not mean to say that like that. With a lot of support. I really didn't mean to, Johnny. Don't hold that one. Okay, I'm a dad. I can make dad jokes. Come on. So there's just a lot of people really interested in being a part of this. We're really excited.
And this
Working on
is,
some funding.
this is north of the playground.
Yeah.
And I know we had approved it last year, but yeah, in
It's great.
Yep,
And again, that's all grant funded.
that's
and
fantastic.
We're reaching out on some other grants as well. So hopefully we get some good seed money on it. Again, I did not mean to say that. Hey, guys, you just bring out the dad in me, I guess. Your second sheet on there is just a list of the immunizations, or no, I'm sorry, not the immunizations. One of the things we do at the health department, is disease investigations for communicable diseases. There's a list of diseases that we have to do investigations on. Investigations can be anywhere from 4 or 5 pages of a questionnaire to 20 pages of a questionnaire that may take 1 day, may take an hour, may take weeks and months. Even if it's a lead case, those can go on for a very long period of time. So just wanted to give you a little update on where we were with this. We did a total of 290 disease investigations there. So keeps our nurse very busy with those. And again, the reason for that is for many of these, there's the possibility that these could spread to the community at large and cause a real problem. So if we can get it investigated and hopefully stopped at the one case that we get, that's a huge benefit to the county.
I don't see measles on here.
Let's hope that you continue to not see measles.
I know that's kind of a problem in other areas.
Yeah, it has. Texas got a lot of cases. We haven't seen one death from it. So, we've all but eradicated measles, and now it's rearing its ugly head again.
I'm guessing there could be multiple tests for the same individual, so it's not 20 or 290 individuals.
With these, typically, yeah, it's going to be. Rarely are these multiple investigations on the same person. It's possible, but a lot of these are they do break down into either environmental or enteric or just regular communicable diseases like measles, that kind of thing. And you'll see on there influenza-related deaths. We don't investigate every influenza case, but if it becomes so serious that there's a death, then we. And then moving right along, part of the Health First Indiana funds, we have certain core areas of public health that we are to focus on. And so this next little spreadsheet there addresses the number of individuals that we were able to provide services to in each of these core functions. So really, really pleased to see that almost 6,000 people were actually able to benefit from some of the money that we received from HFI. So that's just a good way to show that the money is actually going to some benefit. And while you hate to break down people's health to economic numbers, at the same time, it's a reality that we all have to do. And it's a benefit to our community when we see those dollars that we are saving both as the individual patient and our community, because every dollar we save here is a healthcare savings for our employers. They don't have to spend quite as much. So by using numbers provided by the Indiana Department of Health, we took the number of people that we were able to help in these 3 areas only and put a number on those. So on the number of people with undiagnosed health blood pressure, we see the direct cost to those people once we diagnose that they have high blood pressure, and then we see those indirect costs that come about later that we're able to prevent from happening, that lead to other higher costs. So I was stunned by this number when we got this all done, that $1.896 million of savings just from these handful of people that in 3 areas. When we put a dollar number on there, it's pretty impressive.
And so with your ban proposal and going to underserved communities, Decatur County, guessing that number is going to go up.
Yeah, we fully anticipate that going up. Again, don't like to see just breaking it down to dollars because these are people's lives that we're truly saving. But the numbers are important. So yeah, that's going to be a huge benefit, I think, to people, to some underserved areas. And let's face it, people in Westport aren't getting to the doctor as often as people.
That's fantastic. Good work.
Thanks, Sean.
Really good.
Jeremy, I think John's group needs to be commended for how much they helped with the Skyburn matter, especially till the Red Cross got there. They were out there making sure the people that needed help got the help they needed. And then they also were pretty instrumental in getting them back into the building. And I just wanted to make sure Charles, his group got recognized for that.
Thank you, Gary. And it was a great effort that you and so many other agencies came together on, city and county side, to help these individuals suffer a loss.
And I appreciate Gary's words there, but it truly was a group effort. It was so many agencies involved, willing to just drop what they were doing and take care of those individuals. And Gary and Deb, especially Deb, was huge, and that's kudos to everybody involved.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for the help that you guys did and the great work that you reported here tonight. Moving on, the Westport Town Board Animal Control is our next topic.
That would be me.
All right, ma'am, please.
Well,
If you could just come to the podium that way with the microphone and everything,
Just-
or we can move the microphone to you, that'd be great. Yep, either way.
you really don't need this with me.
Well,
I'm serious. You may not need it from me. Okay. My name is Dolores Honeycutt. I'm on the Westport Town Board, and this is Jennifer Ribb, and she's on the board with me. I snookered her into coming. Who is Patty Hensley? Thank you, Patty. You are so sweet. It makes it nice to have a kind voice on the other end of the line. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, with that being said, the current ordinance that we have is not working. When I got it and I started looking at it, it is basically Greensburg and Decatur County's ordinance. Westport has no facility, none. We don't have anybody to get the animals. We don't have a place to put the animals. We don't have anybody to take care of the animals. We have nothing. And while we were sitting out front, my husband and I, Gloria just texted me you'll have to hold. Thank you, husband. I got a message from somebody in Westport who approximately 20 cats around her place, and she is sick and tired of it, and we need to do something about it. Well, what the heck are we going to do about it? I don't know. And I'm here tonight to find out, can we abolish this ordinance and start a new one? More to our situation down there?
defer to our legal counsel here because
Legal counsel.
we've been down this road. I think it was last year as well. We went down this road for the animal control issues down there. And the issue is, yes, that you have an ordinance that controls. And so I think there are some options. And I guess, Chad, if you just want to talk about what the major conflict is there between their ordinance and what Decatur County and Greensburg have.
Well, and I haven't studied them side by side as to ordinances and enforcement, but the main thrust of this situation is Westport's existence as its own municipality, which means they have a set of ordinances and they can craft and, rescind and create new ordinances as they fit. That falls solely within their power as the town board to govern by ordinance. And I mean, Decatur County can't create an ordinance and go enforce their ordinances upon an established municipality. And just as much as we could create something and tell Greensburg that this is what's happening within your municipal limits, we can't do it to Westport either. So their power to create or change their animal control ordinance is absolutely with them. That would not be a commissioner ordinance issue.
And so then that leaves us in a place where we have a financial agreement between Decatur County and the city of Greensburg for animal control. And at this point, there's no such agreement for Westport. So that's really where the hang up is at, is you guys have an ordinance that is supposed to effectuate animal control. And there's no financial arrangement between the city and the county, since you are your own municipality. for us to do that.
Okay, so you're saying that we have the right to change this ordinance?
That's up to you.
So,
That's up to us.
so originally last year, there was some discussion that because you have an ordinance, that was the issue. That's not so much the issue. It's just the issue that the town of Westport is incorporated here for. It's its own entity.
Yeah.
So we, much like Greensburg, it's Decatur County Animal Control. They pay us to take care of the city's animal control. So in Westport's sake, because you're your own entity, your own town, if Decatur County was going to take care of animal control, there would have to be a financial arrangement to do so.
When did this change? Because animal control has been coming to Westport for years.
Well,
So-
I think they still are, to be honest. with you.
They stopped. They have
Yeah.
started coming back. But when did all of this change and
Well,
take place?
I think legally it's been in place since you guys have been a municipality and you've had your own board.
So you're saying that this is the way it always was supposed to be. It just wasn't done that way.
That's the way I understand it.
And this happened last year, and
Well, it's been happening for several years, and this has continued from last year because there wasn't any point in coming at the end of the year when people were going to be changing.
I just met my discussions with Dolores and
Oh,
Westport
yeah.
Police and stuff. I started that last year prior to being in office and trying to find out the solution. We had numbers ran as far as to how many calls were going to Westport. We solidified a lot of the rumors that were flying around and made it facts. But again, prior to this year, it was looked at from a legal standpoint, and from a legal standpoint, Westport is a town. It is incorporated. So we don't actually have, it'd be like us if we just decided to go to Rushville and start trying to police it. It's the same. I understand
Well,
county, but I'm just giving
yeah.
an example that it's a different town. It's a different, accurate, Chad?
Yes, I mean, Decatur County is the unincorporated portions of the county. That are unincorporated, that's the county. The municipality is not a Decatur County function. I presume, I haven't looked, but long ago, you would be able to dig out some type of interlocal agreement that was signed between Decatur County and Greensburg as it pertains to animal control. So that would be what I would expect to find, unless there was, everybody adopted co-joining ordinances at the same time. That would be the only other way it might exist. I haven't gone back and done the history work at this moment, but that'd be what I would expect.
So I'm confused on how we are going to resolve this.
Well, I think you have several options. Continue on the track that you're on, which doesn't sound like it's
It's not
it's not
going.
a viable, it's
Uh-uh,
not a viable option for anybody down there. I think option 2 is your town board votes to withdraw the ordinance, remove it, and then we'll have to have discussions. Commissioners, city of Greensburg would have to agree to take that on, and there would have to be some financial arrangement that would be made for coverage.
Okay. Well, in 22, when the old board, well, the previous board, went to rewrite these, it was to try to consolidate 9 other ordinances that somehow had been passed through the years, and you didn't know what was what from where. And then this came up. And this is way more than what we've ever had. And if you sit down and you read it, it just doesn't pertain to us at all. I mean, if we got a pen, if we got a couple of people to help us out, we don't have a way to transport. What hours do we, do you understand what I'm saying? We don't know the ins and outs of what to do for that.
And I think that's the problem that your ordinance
And
created.
we've tried to meet with the current one, but really nothing has materialized there,
What do you mean?
the animal control officer. And I know they've only got one person for the whole county, right? And I understand that, and that is hard. And well, my question is, if somehow we came up with something, if we were able to corral the animal, would they come and get it?
Yeah, those are discussions that we can have. I think that there needs to be some type of an agreement that needs to be made between Westport and Decatur County, the city of Greensburg.
Okay.
And then we can have those discussions.
Okay.
So I recognize you guys have an issue. You've had an issue for a long time.
Yeah, well.
This seems to have come around every year or so.
Well, it just comes around when it starts getting to be more than what the police department can handle. With Joe off, with our marshal off right now, due to health, we're down to one. And we can't have him spending hours chasing a dog or corralling 20 cats somewhere. So it is, we've got a situation. Okay.
And as I've told you multiple times, but I want to see him control, take care of us. I just think we have to figure out the best way to do it. I know the problems. I'm from the area. I mean, I know that I talk to people all the time. I hear about it. I want to see us do it. It's just how do we do it in the right foot.
So I'll go back, we meet, we talk, we party, we do whatever it is we're going to do, and then we contact somebody to have a sit down, maybe to discuss.
I was out of town for the last meeting. I planned to be there, but I can also come to that.
Okay.
The town board, that helps. Just for any questions,
So you're wanting to come next Monday?
love to be there.
Bring your party hat, bring your party favors. So, all right, thank you guys, appreciate it. Is there anything else? Nope, Jennifer? I mean, I have 4 pages. If you want me to read it to you, I'll read it to you. I didn't think you wanted to hear it.
Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Well, I don't own any animals, but I understand. So,
Sounds like there's 20 cats.
well, sounds like I got my choices on which ones I want to pick out too, doesn't it? That's an ongoing thing there too. So we're going to leave. Thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate your help.
Yes.
All right. Up next, we have lawn care. I would like to propose, right now, the county is currently using Jake Bauer as part-time work out of the fairgrounds. He's doing mowing, lawn care out there, and I've had discussions with Jake that he can use the equipment that we have at the fairgrounds and maintain the highway department and the annex. We would be paying him the same rate that we pay him now for the fairgrounds, and he'd be using the equipment that we already have. And then we request bids for maintenance at the courthouse.
Mowing bids, not maintenance.
I'm sorry, yes, yes.
They're all stepped up.
Yeah. Yes, mowing bids for the courthouse. And courthouse only, and the sample bid was sent around. So I'm open to discussions on this topic. I think that in the long run, I think it'll save us money. The plan going into this year was to have the maintenance position conduct the mowing in those same areas. And I think after some further discussion, there was concern voiced by you guys and some other individuals that it was going to be maybe too burdensome initially to have all of that work done. And so using pre-existing equipment that we already own, I think it's a way for us to maybe trim costs and maybe lean into this going forward in the future.
I think it'd be good that, as long as Jake knows it's maybe a 1-year thing.
Yep.
It may continue, but maybe a 1-year thing, at least for now, until we assess the maintenance piece.
Yep.
Otherwise,
Bill, you and I talked a little bit. You mentioned about hiring somebody else or somebody else.
Yeah, we talked. I know they had somebody help Jay.
Mm-hmm.
He has a job on top of that, and we've got somebody lined up that will come out and mow.
Dwayne. No,
No,
not Dwayne.
Kevin Fields.
Oh,
Kevin, okay. But basically do it for Jake?
For Jake. Jake probably didn't mow much anyway. I think Michelle did most of the mowing last year.
Yeah, so I would make a motion that we would have a county employee take care of the mowing for the highway department,
Okay.
and the annex, and then there would be, we would send new bids out for just courthouse lawn care only. And the other things go with the shrubs.
and the bid that was sent around, is that satisfactory to you guys?
Yes.
It was. All right, so we have a motion from Gabe.
I'll second Gabe's motion.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? All right, motion carries. The bids can go out first thing tomorrow then, Patty.
What are we doing a deadline to get the bids?
Yep, so sealed bids are due to the auditor's office by noon on March 13th, 2025. So 10 days from today. Excuse me, the details and the different provisions that we're requesting bids on are all contained in the bid sheet.
Thank you.
So I'll pass that down, Patty. Anything else on that topic, gentlemen? All right, moving on to the fairgrounds. So, excuse me. I want to give you guys an update on where Ready 2 is and the fairgrounds project. So since I've been involved in the project, there was an understanding that the building had to, if it was going to be on the north end of the fairgrounds, it had to basically sit directly over the Optimist building, that we could not place it to the west towards the old community building because there was a water bowl. I was out at the fairgrounds probably close to a month ago now with Scott Barnes, and we discussed it. They're going to be able to incorporate or move the water bowl just to the north. And so we're able to move the new community building to the west. And so it will sit between the road easement for 200 running east and west, and basically the footprint of the community building in that location, if you guys were to approve that, would take it from that property line basically right up to the Optimist building. It's going to sit basically like the north-south footprint is basically the same like dimensions as the green space that encompasses or includes the Optimist building. It's not quite that wide, but it's close. And so it will give us, I think, a better location, and we're going to be able to either integrate or move that water vault that sits on the northeast corner of the old community building.
That takes away our elevation problem as well.
Yes, so that was the biggest concern when Scott Barnes and I were talking about this, is the sitting on the Optimist location due to the grade and the slope in the hill. It was going to be ballpark figure of $100,000 to try to build up the northeast corner of that building. And if we can use that $100,000 someplace else, cost included on the water vault issue, we will still come out ahead on that. And so that's the impetus here to move that building, to shift it west, is to get away from the grade issue. The downside that we will run into here, I was really excited when Scott was giving me positive feedback on getting this moved, because then we would have the Optimist booth right there. And I'm just envisioning a wedding or some type of event where you can have a food truck or a beer garden or a smoker or something pull up right there on the outside of the Optimist booth. And you're in a wedding and you can go out there and hang out under a roof, get food, drinks, whatever it might be, and then you can go back inside. The issue is that the Optimist building is slightly off of due north. And so the building cannot be constructed to where it actually butts right up to the new building. And so the proposal will be also to not only tear down the old community building, but to tear down the Optimist building. And then we will replace it there on the east end of the community building.
Jeremy, we walked that off. Scott and I walked that off the wheel. It will fit. It will fit with the Optimus. I talked to Scott. He said till Brad gets the final layout, we won't officially know, but we walked that off
And we measured it and it is close. It's close. Yeah.
We got 10 feet.
And well, I think from what
30 barrier
is close to where that easement line is. But what I'm looking for tonight is not necessarily saying, yes, tear it down right now. It's if we need to, for the purpose of this project, are you okay with that? Because even if the building is slightly off tilt there for the new building layout, and we have to connect them with some type of breezeway or something like that, and it's doable and we can save the building and not have that added expense, then that's what we'll do. But we need to know, or we need to have approval, just if that's where we need to go with this building, they're wanting to break ground as soon as possible. The only reason why the current community building is still standing is we found asbestos in the building because there was going to be demolition work that was going to start this week on that building. And so they're having to do the remediation. And so the remediation halted the demo. And so groundbreaking on the new community building is imminent. And so we just need to know if we need that, can we do that?
If we had to tear it down as part of the construction, are we guaranteed that there'll be something back before there?
Back before. So the building is going to be standing. It's not going to be finished and usable, right, Kenny, Bill?
But I meant if you created an awning or something to go back over where the Optimus is. If for some reason, if it didn't work, we created that.
The floor will be poured before that, and the outer building will be constructed. So I'm sure if we talk to Scott, we can probably have that done. The issue will be, of course, access to the construction site. I don't know in what stage that amount of construction will be, Gabe. So is it possible? Yes. Is it also not possible that it'll be a usable space at the time of the fair? Yeah, that's also possible.
Do we have a secondary idea of where the Optimus would be?
We'll have to get a tent, and if the Optimists are wanting to come back.
Well, I don't know that hasn't been decided yet.
Yep. Yeah.
So when if construction's going on the new building during the fair, then we're probably not going to be there.
Okay.
So I don't think that's an issue. It's in discussion right now. Board meeting will be 2 weeks, and probably make a decision then if we're going to try to do anything. But the discussion has been that original discussion was, you're going to move it over there.
Yep.
On the other side, and we decided that happened. We didn't want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's going to stay where it's at. We're still not decided, but even if it's in the midst of construction, which it's going to be, there's really not any reason for us to come back. So,
yeah.
I don't think
and it's a discussion that we can have, that if they are interested in coming back and we need to procure a tent or something like that, we can have those discussions about it.
Flexible.
But yeah, that's
So the
something.
building that's there now, I think one of the reasons that Scott mentioned was it's cock.
Right.
But I thought we also discussed, you leave it set where it's at, just connecting with some concrete. And
It's
then
possible.
There
Yep.
has to be an overhang.
Yep. Like a little breezeway
Over top
walkthrough
of
kind
it.
of thing. Yep.
That way you can, like you said, put double doors, have access to use that. I mean, the building's good.
Yep.
I'll leave it where it is.
So what do you need from us this evening?
All I'm asking for is if construction dictates that we remove the Optimus building, that you guys are approving that. That would be my request. That would be my motion. The caveat to that, of course, is if it can stand, it stands.
Then leave it alone.
Yes.
So I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, I'll convey that information.
What's the timeframe on the mediation of the?
They were supposed to be out there early this week, so I don't know if it happened today. I haven't had a chance to talk to Scott today, but it was early this week that we were supposed to have a remediation expert out there to look at it. And once we get the remediation done, then demolition will be. And
Now, the Optimus does have all their equipment still on that building, so.
And I've talked with Doug Orr, and I will call Doug probably tomorrow by the time we get out of this.
Okay.
And just convey to him. And if there's a spot that we need to find storage or whatever?
Well, we can just leave it there for right now until we have our board meeting. If we decide we're not coming back, then we're gonna have to move that equipment out and get rid of it. So if we're gonna come back, we can find some place to move it to. That'd be fine too, but we're probably gonna make that decision in the next board meeting. So.
Okay. Yep. We'll just be in contact. Yeah, you let me know where you guys are going, and I'll talk with Doug as well and give him the information tomorrow about where we're at. So we have a scoping agreement here with GM Development. The tariffs are hitting this project, and so GM Development had put together a scoping agreement because the cost of the steel involved was going to go up 7% if we didn't have the steel purchased and we were moving forward. And so this scoping agreement, which I've sent to you guys and to our attorney, and some changes were made, basically would assure that if this project completely falls through or whatever, the county will reimburse GM Development for these upfront costs, and it would be ours. The steel would be ours, and we could use them on the project or whatever. But this is just to cover them as far as the future cost. And if the project continues to proceed forward, it will function in the same manner as the BOT will anyways going forward. You guys have any discussion?
No, I read through that and makes sense. Yes, I as well.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to accept and enter into the scoping agreement as provided.
I'll make a motion to enter the agreement.
I'll second that.
All right. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. And pass that down. And can you just email me a scanned copy so that I can send that to Scott and to Greg Martz?
Okay.
So next topic on this, part of the ready proposal was that the county's portion of the project was going to be roughly $1.2 million in fundraising, private donations, in-kind work donations was going to be approximately $800,000. Based on the work that Baker Tilly did for us back last fall on the financial analysis, I would ask for permission to you guys to have Baker Tilly run an analysis of funding this project up to, I guess, a high water mark of $1.5 million, just to make sure that the proposed source for this funding would be able to be sustained by county funds. And also there were some issues when they were looking through the BOT that they would like to have an attorney look at that as well. I don't have a price.
So a total of 1.5,
Yeah, I'm just looking at worst case scenario, Brian.
because we were looking at 1.2 and 800 of that coming in.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at worst case scenario because our in-kind donations are going to include a number of entities from construction, survey work, electrical work. There's a lot of in-kind that is going to be included with that. I just want to get the worst case scenario for where we are to make sure that if the bad stuff happens, that we're okay.
I understand that, to cover our bases, just in case. Have we looked at, I know you mentioned something about looking into sponsorships.
Yes. So
Still pursuing those avenues?
yeah, so I've had several conversations. They're in the very preliminary stages at this point. I need to have some additional lunches and things like that with folks, with some of the bigger entities in Decatur County about sponsorships and things like that.
Okay.
And we do have a fundraising committee that I am working on pulling together. And right now, the committee has 5 separate individuals on it that are going to be working on the fundraising side of this as well.
Have we established that company in Carmel, Indiana, using them, or we?
Yeah, so the information from the Carmel company is, the services that they were going to provide are not necessarily what I believe would be a benefit at this point to Decatur County. The way I had gotten information before is that they would help with acquiring addresses, names, help establish the list going forward. I think their services are more along the lines of doing a feasibility study than they are actually the implementation and procurement of the actual fundraising campaign. That work has been done in large part by Dennis Vogel, so I greatly appreciate his help at this point on having those discussions and his expertise and prior experience in fundraising. So I really appreciate the work that he's done on this, but I don't believe that entity is viable for what we need.
Was there something also with them working on, if it was a pledge type donation, that they would do those continued pledges and so forth along with the fundraising?
So they were willing to do that, but at a very high cost. Okay. And so our community
return on investment's going to be
no, our community foundation, I know, has had discussions that, and Dennis has even volunteered to go in and put this information into their system so that we can have those recurring mailers go out to individuals just to remind them, because as part of this fundraising campaign, it can be 5 years, Brian?
You can go on beyond that.
Okay.
It can be an extended period of time past when the cutoff date for the project is.
The company, their main focus is the bigger, if you're doing a $20 million project, that's where the money would be well spent if you're doing that. On the size of what we're looking at, we're not looking at raising any kind of money like that. So really, for what they cost, it probably costs us more money than we're going to raise.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I think that with Dennis's help and the community foundation's help, I mean, obviously that is subject to change and their final approval and everything at the foundation. But I think that we have a means or an avenue to be able to do that, the continued contact with those that wish to give a pledge going forward.
I do think it behooves us to have Baker Tilly look over that and make sure that we're in the right direction for those dollars. I think that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I would entertain a motion to have Baker Tilly look at a financial plan for us at $1.5 million for the fairgrounds.
Making one, or you're
I'm making a motion.
I'll second.
All right. And those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. I'll be in contact with Matt from Baker Tilly again tomorrow, and we'll get this ball rolling. Or actually, I'll talk to him. I think the last bit of fairgrounds information here, the plan had always been to demo the extension office and the maintenance part of that building as well. I've had some discussions, I think both of you here recently, and some other individuals, that as an office building, the extension office needs some work. But as far as a storage facility, it would have the ability to help us store things out at the fairgrounds instead of filling every single building. And it could also be overflow for other county storage. The backing or the reasoning behind removing the extension office was to gain additional parking because of the new community building there on the northwest corner of the fairgrounds. What did Scott say? 10 or 12 spots was going to be what we gained.
No, I think there's more than that.
20?
25.
Okay. So there were a decent number of spots that we were going to gain from removing the building. And so we just need to weigh the benefits of gaining the added parking right there versus the storage and the ability to use that building going forward in the future. We have discussed putting handicap parking in front of the new community building, so that on other weeks where it's not the fair, Power Pass, whatever it may be, if there's another kind of event out there, there would be handicap parking that is right up front.
So you would basically eliminate all the grass there in front of the building and come straight off of the 200 and into basically parking
Potentially, yeah.
and make those handicap in front of there.
I know Scott has not designed the potential parking for that area, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm taking that all on Park Road on that side.
Yep.
All the handicap accessible parking.
Okay.
It's gonna be so close to the road that little grass area.
Just to limit.
Have to just pave it, make it parking,
Right.
because there's something about, if the parking lot's across 200, which is fine, but you elderly people, stuff, wheelchair, whatever, needs to be able to have access right at. So that was the thought process of putting that here. And I think, then we talk about moving the maintenance stuff over into the old headquarters building.
Yeah, there were those discussions.
Yeah, moving that into the new building, the offices.
Yeah, so the extension offices are going into the new building. The headquarters in the future, during the fair will be in the new building. And so the concern there about moving maintenance is going to be right in the middle of the fairgrounds during the fair, and during other events. There's a lot of stuff over there, despite best efforts to clean a lot of that up.
Cleaned up.
Yeah, so
Nothing stored outside.
yes.
Do you feel like the need is to keep the extension office?
Well, we have nowhere for just put a shop right now, other than the old headquarters building, and that's a big cost, it's right now, we've already got a good structure there.
Makes sense, just leave it there. And
That's
use
what
it.
I say, yeah.
If you make it half the size.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't want to move like the maintenance piece into the middle of the fairgrounds. Like it'd be nice to keep it over separate.
Yeah, that's another thing. It'd be a lot better if it's over where it's at right now, not right in the middle of the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I'd be for keeping that building for that piece.
But I guess my question is, do you have to keep the whole building?
I guess
I don't know. Half of that's being used for offices right now.
Yep. And we can have those. I think we can talk about that in the.
You're gonna have another building, you're gonna have to maintain it. So it'll just end. That's
Right.
Maybe down the road, this will all look its way out.
Yeah, maybe for now, that's get the building finished and take a look at it.
then see where we're at.
Yeah, that might be a smart thing to do. Maybe such a thing that once that gets all done, you go on the backside, parking lot side, put up a maintenance building, you do no maintenance. We have to take a look at that down the road.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to keep the extension building the way it is right now, and modify it for maintenance as needed.
Second that.
All right. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. I will convey that information as well to Scott Barnes. I don't think I have anything else on fairgrounds right now. So Doug Westerfeld, I will gladly hand the microphone over to you for just a little bit.
It's already had you washing your hands.
Where's the hands?
Have some paper.
John, where's Zayden?
I'm here to get approval to create a scoring committee to begin the process of reviewing and updating the Decatur County's comprehensive plan. This will also begin the timeline for the county to apply, or our office to apply for a grant to help to offset those costs for the comprehensive plan. So this initial committee will just be seven individuals. We're working with Southeastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission on applying for a grant. So they will basically, take my hand and walk me through this process. This is the first step in the process. And what that committee will do is they will be part of the interviewing process when we look at engineering firms to help us with the comprehensive planning in Southeastern Indiana Regional Planning. I met with them Thursday, and we've kind of got a timeline. So this will allow us to meet the 2-year period that we need to meet to get the plan, the comprehensive present comprehensive plan updated and in place before the 2-year moratorium is up.
Do you
So
have an estimated cost, Doug?
the grant is for $60,000.
And this is an Ochre grant. And they've done these types of grants. I was in a meeting with Doug last week. Well, they've done these types of grants for other counties.
So we don't know, we don't have an estimated cost. I think the last plan was around over 70,000. We're probably thinking this is going to push more around 100,000. But we don't have those costs yet.
We're not overhauling the plan completely, or are we? Are we amending it, or are we?
We're reviewing and updating it.
Reviewing it?
Yeah.
I know at one time, there was an individual that we had talked to that that's what he did. He's done multiple different comprehensive plans. Can we reach out to somebody like that?
We actually interviewed for your job, actually.
Okay.
But he had worked for a company and that's what they did. And they found they were capable of writing the comprehensive. And he read through our comprehensive plan before he came to interview for that job. But they're able to write those things in a whole lot less than 2 years.
Right. And that's the timeline that we have as well.
Right.
It's just that if we go that route, I'm not sure about getting any grant money to do that.
Yeah.
That would be the only
I
thing.
mean, it might just be worth the phone call, just asking about him.
And I
Was turned the job down and went to work at the hospital or
I've got the application.
university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's so I just want to be clear on something here. This committee is not the steering committee for the decisions that are going to be made going through
Okay.
the comp plan. This is the selection committee.
Correct.
This is,
Okay.
I think, or wording on my part that I had requested when I had this put on the agenda. This is the group of individuals who are going to be soliciting, discussing, interviewing the different either individuals or firms that we will be working with going forward on the comp plan.
Yes, that's correct.
And that was Southeast Indiana's recommendation as well, is that you have this selection committee and then you actually have a steering committee with more individuals from the community involved with that aspect of it.
Well, like Brian said, you don't really have to rewrite the whole thing, or you're just gonna go through and just update what needs updated on.
We're going to review it and update what we feel like needs to be updated or what the steering committee feels like needs to be updated.
Okay.
And do you have a proposal on who will be on the selection committee?
I do. Yourself, Tim Mortman, Brian Robbins, Rick Cohen, Todd Maurer, and Rick Notting.
All right, I got to Brian Robbins and I couldn't keep up.
Rick Cohen, Todd Maurer, and Rick Notting.
And you.
And myself.
So BZA, APC,
And council.
and council commissioners.
I'm still using Tim Mortman as a crutch at this point, so.
You guys have any further discussion or you? Any discussion from the community on this topic? Eric, it's almost like an auction, man. That hand got rather high.
How old is the comprehensive plan?
2017. The recommendation is to review and update them every 5 years.
Okay.
So we're beyond that.
Well, things change in 5 years.
But if you read the 2017 comprehensive plan, there's a lot that's changed.
All right, nothing else from anybody? All right, entertain a motion then to adopt the selection committee as recited by Doug.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
One announcement, I know the email went out, but I would just encourage, all county departments that have vehicles to go out to the highway department, for fuel. IT has, the access to the cars and everything set up, so that we can be getting gas on our contract rather than buying pump. All right, so anybody here from probation? Okay, I have a letter. Sorry,
Just something they requested.
you're right, I was just gonna have them get that spiel, but, so this is a funding thing. It's a letter that is signed by the commissioners to the Department of Corrections, and it states, the 2026 budget and grant for Decatur County's community corrections and the 1006 funding for Decatur County adult probation is supported by the Decatur County Commission. Basically, the grants that they apply for and the funding they obtain from the Indiana Department of Corrections is something that we wish them to continue to obtain and pursue. If you guys have a motion to go ahead and accept this, sign it, and send it off to corrections so that they can send it to DOC.
I make a motion to accept that. I'll second.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And I need your guys' signature. Sorry for the infection.
Even that chance on, it's gonna be further back on myself.
You can just pass that down. All right. I think the last thing that I have, the mayor had sent over a letter, notice, and testing documentation in accordance with the Decatur County biosolid PFAS ordinance. Testing was completed as detailed in the report. The report is dated February 24th, 2025. And they have a list of all of the separate chemicals that were tested for, also a location of where land-based application of biosolids would be located at. You guys have an opportunity to review that.
I didn't.
I'll see the mayor or anybody else here speak on the topic.
I spoke with him this week. Yeah, they did no modifications. It was tested as is, came out. Obviously didn't meet the threshold, so everything was good to go.
Any further discussion? I would then, I guess, entertain a motion to inform the City of Greensburg that they have fulfilled their obligations as required by the Decatur County Biosolids Ordinance.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Since motion carries, since you've had discussion with the mayor about that, you want to just shoot me an email?
Absolutely.
Anything else for the good of the order? Brian, you got anything?
Real quick, so you can get back to your own bed, I suppose. The Op Expo went very well. Appreciate all the departments in the county that came out and participated. We had a good turnout for all the kids. We had 55 to 60 businesses. Kids all, most of them had resume in hand and were highly engaged with the businesses. So we appreciate the participation. One thing, the EDC has been pushed me moving forward with a housing study, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but we look at it as a cooperative effort between the city, the county, possible TIF districts as well to cover one. We're going to be working with the Thomas P. Miller and Associates, and it'll be one for the entire county, which will be hopefully a great asset to as we look at the cost and everything else. So, and then lastly, in the ready thing, there you covered it pretty well, but I did, Bill, Brian, you said that it was 1.2 of that 800,000. It's actually 1.2 and then 800,000.
I misspoke.
Yeah, it's a public with 1.2 and then 800,000 private. I think they already have 300,000.
We have 300,000 in the
already
community
raised. I
foundation.
want to make that correct, but,
Yeah, for that clarification, because I meant that,
Yeah.
1.2 and 8.
I just want, but yeah, we continue to wait from the state. We're all ready to do project. We're just kind of fighting our time. I know they're getting. There she goes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Sheriff, are you itching to say anything?
No, sir, I'm good.
Excellent. Anyone else?
He's waiting for the county council to be.
Yeah.
Something.
All right, then I would entertain a motion to recess.
So I'm going to reset.
All right, we are recessed.